I want to bring in someone else who has been watching all of these developments very closely. That is Jeffrey Curry. He's Global Head of Commodities Research at Goldman Sachs. Jeff, it's great to see you. A lot of moving parts here, obviously, because it's not just about Russia and Ukraine. It's about a potential Iran deal. It's about what we're seeing in global supply elsewhere. What does this calculus all equal when it comes to oil prices, in your view?
Well, you have the Russia situation as being like a right tail event, and you have Iran being a left tail event. And you watch how the market's been pricing for the last week and a half. It's swinging between these two type of events. I want to emphasize that when we look at the history of energy flows between Russia and Western Europe, they've only been substantially halted once, and that was in 1941 when Germany invaded Russia. In other words, it simply doesn't happen and takes an extreme event. And so, given so far what we've seen, it's still relatively, the retaliation is relatively modest, which means, the likelihood of a disruption beyond, further, let's say, putting a halt on a Nord Stream 2 is probably about this stream we're going to see. Because remember, U.S. and Europe still take a substantial amount of oil. So I think, going back to, the Iranian event, so I think the offset here would be the potential to see Iranian supplies being approved through an Iranian deal. I want to emphasize a couple points on that. One, yes, there is inventory that can be brought to the market rather quickly, but that's not a substantial amount, somewhere around 50 million barrels. And just given the fact that, first time these ships are going to be used in several years, it's going to take months before you get that full amount of supply in the market.
Good afternoon, early afternoon at that. XRP Future Millionaire. It's 12:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the East Coast in the United States of America. I reside in the great state of Michigan on this cold, slightly warmer day, but a little cold still. So, what I want to go over real quick is the crypto markets. I hope you enjoyed that video to start from top commodities guy over at Goldman Sachs, giving you a little insight on commodities and oil. I'm going to end out with about a 2-minute clip at the very end, so if you're interested in seeing something further down that interview, I'm going to share that as well, but it's fascinating. You need to pay attention to the commodity side of this as well. So I'm going to continue to punch the point, or drive home the point about commodities, gold, silver, oil, precious metals, and such. So the total crypto market cap, as of right now, is down under a critical 1.753 trillion. It's also below the critical 20-day and the 30-minute time frame. To me, this is showing signs of breaking down, and it looks like the top is in. We had 3 tries, and you're done. 1, 2, 3, all descending. So that means the top is coming down from us, and we're losing volume and the push every time we come up. As of right now, we had a failed cup, which could drive us way down if this ends up playing out like it looks like it will. So pay attention to that in the total crypto market cap, because that drives the entire market. I want to start with DGB right now. So DGB, I don't like to just go online. I like to switch it up a little bit. So DGB is riding the 20-day, but it's, as we speak, it's starting to look like it wants to break down. We're waiting for a further volume push, but there is the chance right now that DGB, if it doesn't break down, which I have a feeling the whole market's about to break down, futures opens in 6 hours right now. So I think 2151 would cap any upside if it could even make a run back up. But I think once we fall through these 20 days, these are going to be pretty big drops here, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, 2258 is a top target if it can break out of this region. But with the volume coming in, it's not possible. With this volume load, you've got XLM. The same deal. We thought maybe a top was in when we came up there, but we didn't know if we could come back and retest. We came up to 1945 and got rejected again. This is the second time in as many days, in a matter of hours, actually. And now we're below the 20-day, which is a critical bearish indicator. If we continue this, we're going to come down to 18.5. That won't hold, and then we're going to continue our downtrend to 17.2 and ultimately end up back at 16.1 before we go further for a correction. Make no mistake about it, everybody. We are in a bear market. So when you're trading and swing trading in a bear market, the moment you start falling below the 20-day and the 30-minute time frame is when you have to start exiting. If you don't exit, you're going to fall into a big flash drop, and I'm telling you right now, a bearish divergence is setting up to take place right now in the 30-minute time frame. Just going to take time. Like I said, I think it's going to squeeze and then go down. I've made no bones about it. And right now, we're under a very important 20-day. We're underneath. We don't have a lot of volume pushing us down in the 30, which tells you that we might come back up and either retest right here, which is not a big move. It's only 39,089, so it's about a 100 or 200 point move. But then it's also going to tell you if there's any chance that we can come retest that 39,862 for like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a 6th time trying to get up there without passing. And the one time we did it was just a fake out wick that came down in like a minute, 2 minutes. So this is what we have to watch. We all have to be very visual today, because if you're not visual, this can roll over on you and you're going to lose a lot of your portfolio. This next drop is probably going to be some 15, 20 to 30% across all of alts. That's just the way it's going to be. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but the next drop is a severe one. And the next drop could happen after another upturn. We don't know. But as of right now, the technical indicators are saying we're not looking good. We need severe volume to come in, and if on the futures close, if it's negative volume coming in, this could be detrimental across all markets. I think this week is going to be a very bad week in the overall markets. We had a pump up on Thursday in all markets. We had a dump down on gold on Friday and silver and precious metals and commodities because the Fed decided to inject all markets with money on the basis of the Russian-Ukraine war. So they lied to the people to once again further devalue our U.S. dollar, which is another reason why we need to get out of fiat. We need to have ways to buy stuff. And that's why yesterday when I was talking about the crypto debit machine, whether you agree, disagree, I'm not telling you what to believe. I'm just putting something out there, whether there's better, worse, or whatever technology to come in the future. I want to have it out there so we know there's an option outside. And yes, I understand the debit cards, guys. This is another thing I wanted to answer because trying to do it in comments is too hard. I can do the same thing on my Uphold. The problem is I have to sell my crypto back into fiat, taking a hit for selling my crypto, paying the tax, and the short-term capital gains, not to mention the fee that Uphold puts on just to buy and sell, to be able to make it into cash and use it as the US dollar, which is my native fiat. That's no different than me cashing out and just using my cash. I'm talking about when I'm in a position, I want to be able to use my crypto. That's all, and that's why I presented that yesterday. In the future, I will try to find more information so that I can better clarify what I was trying to present to you. And I appreciate all the feedback. So the synopsis is right now we're looking bearish. A lot of this is under the 20-day. Bitcoin's under the 20-day and the 30-minute time frame, which is an ultra bearish indicator. XRP following suit under the 30-minute. If we can get one surge of volume down, this is going to fall apart like the house of cards coming unglued. Make sure to hit that like button, turn that bell notification to all, and subscribe to the channel if you're new or returning. Consider joining Tom's Army for $9.99 a month. Get the exclusive Telegram. I'll show you all of that and more in a further update. So I want to finish... Whoops. Well, we'll go back into that in a sec. I just wanted to show you one more thing, though. If this breaks down... I forgot. If it breaks down... What is this? Let me get this off the top of my screen. If this breaks down past 72.2, then we've got this consolidation where we had this W at 68, and if that breaks, I wouldn't expect the 62 to hold like a double bottom. I think this would come right back through on bad technicals. So consider all I've said and more.
All the capital away from the old economy. That's why they called it the revenge of the old economy back then. And then you had the strong demand coming from China. Today, what do we have? We have the same revenge of the old economy. It's the FANG boom instead of the dot-com boom, doing the exact same dynamic, sucking capital away from the old economy. And then in terms of the demand, instead of it being China-driven, it's COVID-driven with the policy stimulus off of those, the recent policy stimulus in the system.
And if one is a believer in that super spike theory, what are the best trades, Jeff, one could put on here? Do you go long oil? Do you go along aluminum? How do you set this up?
Yeah, we were to say oil, copper, aluminum, all of these are the markets that are the most exposed. If I just go pure balances, aluminum is the one that's the most dislocated. Why? We call it the climate paradox. It creates emissions to produce it, plus you need it to solve climate change. And also it's very much exposed to the energy crises that you have going on in Europe and the one that took place in China. So not a lot of supply, a lot of demand. Copper is the strategically most important commodity. You can't electrify the world without copper, given the restrictions around the periodic table in chemistry. And then in terms of thinking about oil, it's still strategically, it's critical to global economic growth, and we're running out of spare capacity and inventories are low. The way I like to describe the answer to your question, metals are likely to be a better Sharpe ratio. In the end, oil will probably give you better returns, but it'll be a rocky road. I like to say, buckle your seatbelt, hang on for the ride. It's not going to be a straight line up. It's probably going to be very volatile.